Welcome to Weekly Weather Brief, another great week with my fellow favorite meteorologist, Karen Jerriman. Hi there, Karen. It's good to see you.
Hey, my other favorite meteorologist, Emily Gracie. I love how we drop the names
I like it.
that.
Yeah, we introduced each other this week. It's good. I get sick of saying my name, so
Been a really busy week.
every week we have plenty to talk about, and we're kind of going to dig into that today. A lot of kind of climate stuff today, which makes sense. It's very, very hot in some parts of the US, very hot in some parts of the world, and I feel very hot personally right now in Charleston, South Carolina. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the heat.
Yeah, it's toasty up here in the Northeast as well. Nothing's too atypical for summer because we are officially in summer now, which is great. But some places pushing the boundaries of normal summer heat. I'm looking at the folks out west. I definitely noticed all the heat building across. Well, we touched on this last week. Started in Texas and then just kind of like spewed into the Southwest. Yeah, it's hot stuff there, and then fire danger growing across the Southwest too. Emily, I was poking around at satellite imagery because I do that sometimes, right? And I know that's one of your favorite pastimes.
Yeah.
And I noticed these fires just blossoming across Utah and Nevada earlier this week, and I hate to see that, but these smoke plumes, you can see them on satellite. They just kind of billow up, almost looks like a thunderstorm to maybe an untrained eye. But that was really, terrible to see. We hate to see fires popping up, but that's going to be more and more common, I think, into the start of the weekend because it's just really dry out west, continues to be, along with the heat.
Yeah, it's been weird here in the Southeast too, because there have been a couple mornings where the dew points have been kind of low for this time of year. We're kind of used to like 80-degree dew points in this part of the country, but I mean, we were talking like mid 60s for dew points, which I know that doesn't sound super low. We're not talking like fire weather danger, but that's like, it's like a comfortable morning in the summer here. So there has been some dry weather here in the Southeast too.
Yeah, no, I think that's important to remember, right? Like that dew point and the amount of moisture in the air. When you go out to the desert Southwest, it's a desert, right? So it's naturally drier, but those dew points are often in the teens and single digits. So we're talking like tinderbox conditions, and that's certainly what's happening and expected for the next couple of days. There are red flag warnings all over the Southwest because of that super dry air plus gusty winds. That just creates the recipe for fires, and not to mention poor air quality. So hate to see that, but that's definitely something that caught my attention this week amidst many other things. What about you?
All over the news this week has been the heat in Europe, which, I'm planning a European vacation here soon, so I'm a little bit nervous about this. But yeah, there have been like some unheard of moments in Europe. I saw the first ever code red heat alert was issued in the Netherlands. They've never done that before. And then some places I just like records left and right. So they've been topping out around 40 degrees Celsius, which in our terms is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. There was a spot in France that hit 43.8, which is equivalent to 110.8 Fahrenheit. And something kind of that's popped up unexpected, there's been a major hazard as far as drownings, because people are jumping in kind of unauthorized bodies of water to try to stay cool. And it's led to like not safe conditions. There have been 40 deaths due to drownings in France, which is really scary.
Yeah, I did see that as well, just at least as of the time of our recording, but unfortunately the heat's still ongoing. And so, yeah, this is an area that doesn't have wide access to air conditioners. It's not really equipped for this kind of heat, but here we are dealing with the second major, like historic heat wave in a matter of 2 months. Because if you remember last month, Weekly Weather Brief covered this. Emily was out for that episode, but we talked a bit about the unprecedented heat for May, and now here we are again, doubling down, setting all-time records, smashing June temperature records. Like you said, places over 110. I think I saw there was a spot at 112 in France as well, which, again, all-time heat records falling there. So
yeah, and that's not heat index, that's actual temperature.
It's actual temperature, and something that would be consistent with climate change, since we're talking about, the extreme heat. And now that we're doing it twice, I mean, the science of climate change says that frequency and intensity of these heat waves.
Keep going, Karen.
Yeah, I'm going. Sorry. I have water today. Trying to stay cool.
Yeah,
the frequency and
that's
intensity
smart.
of heat waves has increased worldwide. So here we are, and you hate to see it because it does mean impacts to health, infrastructure, like you said, deaths, unfortunately, because people are just looking to stay cool, and it's not something they experience too often.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember back when we saw a lot of like the government cuts with weather and climate last year. Climate.gov was one of the websites that was kind of shut down and the entire team laid off. And Rebecca Lindsay, who was on that team, was like, you know what, we're going to still do this. We're going to do it on our own. So they started up climate.us, and it's been like a work in progress for many months. And the full website just rolled out this week. So anyone looking for good climate information, especially like educators, media, even if you're just somebody that's interested in learning more, they have some really great resources there on climate.us, and there's a little button to click to donate too, because they're kind of doing what I'm doing right now, which is like keep doing the work but not getting paid. So they could use everybody's support.
Yes.
With climate.us.
Yeah, I love what they're doing there. These are the folks that, again, did work on the climate.gov site, the government-run site, but once that kind of got, shut down, the same great resources are now popping up again, which is so important, I think, to have, the reliable place to get climate information. It's run by people who know what they're talking about and know that this information should be there, and supported by people who want it. So yeah, double down on that. Check out climate.us. A lot of great resources for education as well.
Yep. And one of their most popular blogs that was on climate.gov, they're transitioning it over, was the Enzo blog, which really talks about like El Niño and La Niña. And I know it doesn't sound like super sexy, but it was a very popular blog, especially among meteorologists. Well written. So they're transitioning that over. All the more reason, because I feel like El Niño has been a little bit more of a mainstream term this time around.
Yeah.
Am I imagining this, or is this like all over the news, all over social media? I feel like it used to be kind of more like scientists use this term, but now I think everybody wants to know what's going on with El Nino. Probably because we keep putting terms like super and in front of it.
Yes, the terms, but the actual values are now surpassing numbers that really have not been seen before. So yeah, we're on track for that super or what have you. So, it does become significant when it's off the charts as it is going in that direction. So yeah, great resource there. And I look forward to that blog. What else, Emily? Anything else this week?
I saw one crazy video when we're talking about like heavy rain events this time of year, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we'll attach this in our show notes. There was this crazy tweet I saw of flash flooding there. You just have to look at it because it was crazy. And it was these thunderstorms coming through and just like one right after another. We call it training, when like one thunderstorm kind of follows another, almost like a train, And so they just dumped water on Green Bay, and there was some video out of there that was wild as far as the flash flooding. So a lot of people driving through it. Just that reminder, turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown. Yep, definitely good to remember, especially as we go into summer season with all these downpours. I think the only other thing of note to mention, not necessarily weather, but of course making big headlines, sadly, is the two earthquakes in Venezuela. And I know you had flagged this as well. There were two large earthquakes on Wednesday, magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 back to back, almost in the same area, and sadly just caused the crumbling of buildings. Lots of people have died, unfortunately. And so that's a developing story that we wanted to at least acknowledge, even though it's not weather related.
Yeah.
Something to keep watching and keep the folks in your thoughts for sure.
Yeah, it'll be ongoing, I think, with recovery efforts for a while there. And of course, that like underlying, like, are there going to be aftershocks? Is this over? And the answer is we don't know. This is the problem with earthquakes, is we don't know. And I want to mention too, I've started this other podcast, Atmosphere, and they're more long form, but last week's episode was all about earthquakes, and I had an amazing guest on. His name's Sean Wilsey. He has an awesome YouTube channel, great at explanations, and it's like basic knowledge, earthquakes 101, everything you need to know about the science of earthquakes and like even the future of the science of earthquakes. So check that out if you want, on Atmosphere, if you want a little deeper dive into earthquake knowledge. I learned a lot, so I think it applies to everyone.
I always love learning about things, especially those like tangent things that you might hear in the, on your local broadcast or something, but they're not necessarily weather. So it's important for the meteorological community to stay informed, and anyone else too, if you just have an interest in learning why these things happen. So look forward to that.
Yep.
With that, Emily, I think we should wrap it up for this week. Yeah, call it another successful week of Weekly Weather Brief. Hopefully successful. Hopefully you folks are liking what you hear.
Yeah, let us know. Only if you like it. No, I'm just kidding. Let us know either way. Drop a comment in our YouTube channel and make sure you share it with friends if you do like it. And of course, as always, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow, a like, a comment, and a share. And we'd greatly appreciate
Sounds
it.
good. Yes.
Karen,
We
have a
look
great
forward to
weekend.
catching you next week. You too. Bye, everyone.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, Emily.